Hi, I'm Curtis Knight. On the day of your wedding, should we have a blessing? Up until about 15 years ago, every single wedding had a blessing. There were no exceptions. When do we have it? Just before the meal. So we do grand entrance, in comes the bride and groom, they do their dance. At the end of their dance, I say, as your DJ, I say, and now, how about for the all-new Mr. and Mrs. Smith, could you all please make your way to your seats and make sure you have something to hold up in the air that's liquid as we prepare to toast the all-new Mr. and Mrs. John and Mary Smith. Everyone to your seats, please. So we all get to our seats, and before we do the toasts, the first thing we do is the blessing. And they used to always bring the priest or the minister or the pastor from the church, and they would do the blessing. Then, over time, they would start having the JP do the blessing, because JP weddings, Justice of the Peace, JP weddings have become very popular. So now they're about 60% of all the weddings we do. So now we just had the ceremony out in the side yard or the backyard of the venue, and now we're all inside for dinner, and it's time to bless the meal. These days, instead of 100% of the meals having a blessing, maybe about 30 or 40% still have a blessing. You can ask a clergy member to come from a church to do it, or you can have a family member, grandmother, grandfather, an aunt, an uncle, somebody who's religious, or you can skip it all together. And sometimes, last resort, people will say, oh, we should have done a blessing right when we're lined up to do the toasts. So then I'll whisper, would you like me to do the blessing? And if they say yes, I do a very quick, please bless this couple and bless this meal in your heavenly name, amen. And the whole room says, amen, and they all cross themselves. And now you have the blessing, you have covered that particular component if anyone's looking for it. So one of the things you need to think about, and this is the takeaway from this video, on your wedding day, do you want a blessing just before the toasts, just before the meal? And if you do, who is going to do that blessing?